Hello, this is Dr. A, and we're covering section 1.11 on food chains and food webs. Essential learning objective here is to describe food chains and food webs, their constituent members by trophic level, by feeding level. The suggested skill is to be able to describe the characteristics of an environmental concept. Food web basically shows how matter and energy flow through an ecosystem from one organism to another. When one organism preys or eats another, the matters, such as the carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen, and phosphorus, and the energy found in glucose, muscle tissue, are passed to the predator. Notice that the arrows in the food webs indicate the direction of energy flow, pointing to the organism that takes in the energy. Food web versus food chain. In a food chain, it just shows one linear path of energy and matter, from the grass to the grasshopper to the mouse to the owl. Whereas in a food web, there's at least two different interconnected, the grass to the grasshopper to the mouse to the owl, but also to the grasshopper to the robin, and so forth to the owl. So we've got basically going from here to here to here is one interconnected food web, food chain. The web shows different organisms can exist at different trophic levels. For example, here, the grass to the hare to the owl is a secondary consumer. Whereas the grass to the grasshopper to the robin to the owl is a tertiary consumer. Interactions in trophic cascade. Food webs show how increase or decreases in population size of a given species will impact the rest of the food web. For example, an increase in the python level will decrease the frogs and the rat population because the python eats it. This will cause an increase in the grasshopper because there's no frogs or rats to eat the grasshoppers. And because there's an increase in grasshoppers, it will decrease the amount of corn. Okay, and again, these go down because this one goes up, this one goes up. Therefore, the corn goes down. There are things called a trophic cascade, which is nasty. So removal or addition of a top predator has ripple effects down through the lower trophic levels. For example, if you look in what happened in Yellowstone when they removed the wolves, a decline in wolf population decreases deer population or elk population. The elk population therefore went way up, and therefore all the aspen trees surrounding the streams went down, which means a lot of other organisms at that area, because they didn't have the aspen trees or the shade or whatever, huge decrease in the number of beaver and so forth. So in practice FRQ 1.11, can you identify an organism that is both a secondary and a tertiary consumer? Can you describe one direct effect that a decline in the frog population right there would have on the food web? Thank you, and I hope that this has been helpful.